Well, that's questionable. If I had to base keeping this palette on today's look, I don't know that I would. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am using these two palettes to do this eyeshadow look. I haven't used At Forest Sight yet this year, so this is the first time I'm using this one. And the Surge palette is pretty new to my collection, so I thought it'd be fun to pair them together. If you're interested in seeing that, don't go anywhere. If you're new here, hello, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I really enjoy eyeshadow, particularly colorful eyeshadow, and I do upload several videos every week, so I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. Let's dive in first with an eye primer. This is the Glamlight Icing Primer. Everything that I'm using is either linked or at least mentioned in the description box below. If it's something that you can still buy, it's linked, but I do get a lot of things secondhand. I get a lot of palettes secondhand. I don't buy eye primer and mascara secondhand. So if you're curious what I'm using or where to get it, then just check the description box. Let me tell you my plan. For today, I want to dive into the blue and green shades in this palette and possibly the silvery shimmer as well. But the blue and green in here are quite deep, and so I needed something to blend them out. So I pulled out the Surge palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics because they have some more pastel or at least mid to light tones up here. So I don't really have a plan aside from using those colors. And I also have the palette pull-in project and card that above for you. Basically, I'm working through a selected palette in consecutive order. Well, I accidentally missed a shade. This is the shade I should have done next, and instead, yesterday's look, I did this shade. So I'm backtracking to fill in the gap. This is the shadow I have to use today. It is called Big Magic, and it's just a, mid-tone matte pink. So let's get going. I'm kind of thinking of doing a cut crease. I haven't done a cut crease in quite some time, but I really want these two dark mattes from the At Forest Sight to fill my crease, and if I do that, then I'm gonna need to cut it to get some lightness by the bridge of the nose. I don't know, I think the last time I cut a crease, it was a bit of a mess, but let's just go for it. I am going to take a Blend Bunny B1 brush. This is sort of a mid-sized and rather loose blending brush, but it's pinched at the ferrule and then it flares a little bit, so it's not super loose. And I think I'm gonna take this shade Emerald City and put this in my inner corner. I'm always nervous, well, inner crease rather. I'm always nervous to bring darkness over here because it's just not my preferred aesthetic. Now you'll notice I started like this and then I quickly changed my angle. Having my brush like this means that when the bristles flare, they're going to flare upwards, which will drag my color higher. I don't want that. That's why I quickly altered my angle to be more like this, where it's pressing into the crease and not flaring upwards, because the upwards shadows are going to be the buffing out shades. So I'm pushing Emerald City in here, and now I have that song from The Wizard of Oz in my head. In yesterday's look, I used the Muse palette. I filmed with it, and that video I think is live now. That's what I did yesterday, and I'm wondering if you guys would like to see a week of Muse. I kind of think you would, but let me know. I'm cleaning off my brush, and now I'm going to grab the blue matte, which is called PNW. And I'll place that in the outer crease. Well, now I kind of wish I'd gone the other way, like put the green out here, but oh well. It'll be pretty nonetheless. They're so close. I mean, they're the same depth. Maybe instead of using green and blue to blend out, I'll just use green because that would bring a little bit more green to the outer half. These shadows are really pigmented. I haven't used this palette in a while. Above here, I can card for you a video that I just made about palettes that I hadn't yet used in 2023. And honestly, I was really surprised that there were, I think, only 5 out of my entire collection. I think there were just 5 palettes that I hadn't yet gotten to, and by the time that video went live, I had intentionally used 3 of those 5. So At Forest Sight is also one of those. Now I need to go back and see what the last palette is that I hadn't used yet, but I was really proud of myself for actually using my collection instead of just pining after all the new releases. Now with the Blend Bunny B2, I think I'm going to grab the shade Chills from the Surge palette, and I'm going to use this to soften these edges. I'm feeling kind of like Gypsy Mama today. And I say Gypsy Mama because I recently read the Madeline story where Madeline and Pepito, they kind of get lost at the circus and are taken away with the circus. You read some of these kids' books and you're like, well, that's questionable. Oh man. I think Madeline and Pepito had gotten caught at the top of a Ferris wheel. and there was a storm, and Miss Lavelle and all the other children went home, and the gypsies rescued Madeline and Pepito, and then just took them with them. So Madeline and Pepito went off and lived the circus life for a while, and there was a gypsy mama, and that's what is in my brain now. That Chills shade from Surge is really lovely, isn't it? Now this is a dangerous point to be, because there's a lot of pigment on my eyelid right now. I don't want it to come too high. I don't really want it to come any higher than it is, quite frankly. So if I use a shadow to blend it out, then it's gonna keep moving up and it'll blow out more than I want. The other option would be to conceal the shadow that's already there. I could do so with a face powder, or I could lighten it significantly with a white, and there's a white in the Surge palette. I think I'm gonna try the white trick. The shadow is called White Hot, and I'm gonna put it right on the edge of that blue matte and just lighten it a lot, and hopefully that will help blend it out into my skin. And if that doesn't work, then I'll bring in like a face powder and I'll use that to buff out the shadows. Now the blue and the green, because they were so close, they've kind of merged together as well into my crease. So there's not much definition. I kind of need to hurry up with this look because the sun is rising through a window that's right over here, and it is very quickly going to make everything yellow. So instead of taking the time to cut my crease, I'm just going to take a flat brush and lay down to a faux cut crease. This is the shade Evergreen from the At Forest Sight palette. Generally, I apply ColourPop shadows or shimmers with my finger, but I want a little bit of precision with this because it is a faux cut crease. So I've sprayed it, and I'm going to place it, start at the inner corner, and just cut up into the crease. I don't think I've ever paired this shadow with the blue and green. It is pulling a lot of those tones. It's not giving me the contrast that I wanted. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, so with that laid down, because I do want contrast, I think I'll just grab the gold shimmer from the palette, which is called West Coast, and I'll place that underneath of the silver shimmer. And like another stripe, kind of like a little rainbow. Rainbow. And I haven't fully covered my lid space, so I might have a look over in the Surge palette and see what I could get there for shimmers. I've picked up the shade Flash from the Surge palette, and I'm putting that on the bottom of this section. I'm not happy with the way this is looking right now. That's what you get for rushing. I was just trying to beat the sun. What I don't like is the way that the shimmers from the At Forest Sight palette sort of just smushed together, and they look just like a dirty green. More specifically, I don't like it with the colors in the crease. I think that it looks muddy. This Surge shimmer is helping a lot because it's kind of covering a little bit and bringing some contrast, but I still have trying to think of how I can salvage this because I don't love it, honestly. I've picked out this glitter liner from NYX. It's linked down below as well, and it's gold, so I'm going to use it and trace like the faux cut crease and see if it can redeem the look. Maybe it can all look like I did this intentionally. I mean, I guess technically I did do it intentionally. Yeah, it's still not giving me the contrast that I want. I'm gonna do the lower lash line, maybe bring in a really bright pop at the inner corner, and that might sort of save it. I mean, it works with my colors today, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I like the look itself. Let's do the lower lash line. Another Blend Bunny B2 Into Big Magic from the Tinkerbell palette. This is my palette pull-in shade. I'm going to start this at my inner corner, I think, and carry it on, I don't know, maybe the inner half of the lower lash line. The baby's waking up. I've got the shade Chills again on this same brush, and I'll put that in my outer corner. And then with a smudger brush, I'm going back into the Emerald City shade, and I'll put that in my outer corner as well. Just a little bit tighter, closer to the lashes. And then back into White Hot, which is the matte in the Surge palette. I'm going to pop that right here. and brighten this up a little bit, and that will also give me the contrast that I like, to have light in the inner half and depth in the outer half. I'm going to quickly do a wing in the outer corner. I think that I might take that glitter liner and try to emphasize the wing a little bit. So excuse me while I don't talk, because my wings are not great to begin with, and moving my face while I do them is not going to help. Okay, well that's something. I'm gonna trace it with the glitter liner, like on top of it, I think. So I'm just gonna close my eye and let that dry, and I'll be back in a second. Okay guys, I shifted a little bit so that I have light coming a little bit more frontal rather than from the side. Hopefully this is not too yellow for you. Let me tell you what I did to finish off this look. In my waterline, I placed a dark green. This is the shade Canopy from ColourPop's Chrome Gel Liner series. And then on my face, I have a blush from ColourPop in the shade No Vacancy. It's a Super Shock blush. I like the texture of this. And then I topped it with a highlighter from the BH Cosmetics Frosé palette. And on my lips, I'm wearing the Showering Sunset shade from Burt's Bees Tinted Lip Oils. You saw me put on eyeliner, and aside from mascara, I think that's everything. So let me tell you what I'm thinking. Hang on, let me get a mirror. Okay, I think it's pretty. I don't love it. It is absolutely not my best work. It's not my best color combination choices. Maybe that was really on me. I think that it looks a little bit muddy overall. I'll probably keep it on. I don't think I'm going to wash it off. What I think saved this look was the Surge palette, the white inner corner highlight, and then that glitter liner. That all together just made it a bit more, okay, I can deal with it, but I definitely don't love it. I think it's pretty. Tell me what you think in the comments below. This is the first time in a while that I've used the At Foresight palette from ColourPop, and honestly, I really do think the Surge palette saved the day, and that again could have just been my application. Maybe I didn't choose the best color combinations, or I don't know, but I mean, this green should look amazing with these shimmers, and this blue should look amazing with these shimmers. But when I did them together, as you saw, it just, no, it doesn't excite me. So I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use it some more. But quite frankly, I have gotten rid of a lot of my ColourPop palettes, because compared to the other indie brands I have, they're just not really up to snuff anymore. I might get rid of At Foresight. We'll see. I have not decided yet. I did fight to get At Foresight, so getting rid of it is a bit more difficult than getting rid of just, you know, any old ColourPop palette. But if it's not performing the way that I want it to, and it's not giving me the looks that I want it to, I don't really see the point in keeping it. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and this look. Please do tell me below in the comments, what do you think? Do you think it turned out okay? Do you think I'm overreacting? Do you agree with me that it's a little bit muddy, it's a little bit messy, or sort of slurping all together? I don't know. I'm just not loving the look. It's okay. I'll probably keep it on, but that's all we've got for today. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'll see you again soon in my next video. Bye.